Button is pushed.
Nice.
Okay. Well, hello everyone. We're live, and this is the Quiz Impossible.
Yes, indeed. We're taking
Yeah.
a panel from a show that I used to do a couple of years ago. Create a new quiz content, Quiz Impossible, for specifically Geek Interesting, or for Geek. That's the name of the old show for Freethoughtbloggers. Welcome to the Carnival Curiosity fundraiser. So today, why don't I just launch right into it? I have an intro here. Let's begin. Welcome to the astonishing anterior appearance of Quiz Impossible. As you astute audience attendees are assured, this is episode A, Aquatic Antics and the Ancients of Arda. Tonight, we acknowledge, affirm, and adduce absorbing accounts about SpongeBob, SeaQuest, The Lord of the Rings, and anything adequately appearing akin or analogous to the above mentioned. I'm your quiz mistress, Abby St. Brendan, and with me tonight are my guests. From the Bolingbrook Babbler, the artistic William Brinkman.
Hello.
From Reprobate Spreadsheet, the accurate H.J. Hornbeck.
Hi.
From Pervert Justice, the adamant CD. And from Pharyngula, the agitated PZ Myers.
Yes, I'm very agitated. Can you tell?
Well, it's not so much a current state as it is an ongoing life trend. Let's put it that way.
Okay. So
Goes with the purple beard.
So Abby's going to make me worse tonight. All right.
I'll be gentle. All right. So just to be clear about this, these are supposed to be very hard questions. And I've been fascinated to see what happens when people who have a specifically highly academic bent start trying some of these questions. But the idea is, if you have the question or don't know what the answer is, feel free to chime in something silly, something ridiculous, be interesting, be funny. So let's begin with something that is both aquatic and arcane. Before meeting Aragorn at the Prancing Pony, the four hobbits had already had some adventures of their own since leaving the Shire, including a river crossing. But where actually is the Brandywine River?
The Brandywine River? It must be some sort of distillery. I mean, how else could it ever get that sort of name?
You mean the one in Pennsylvania?
Go on.
There's a Brandywine River in Pennsylvania. That's all I know.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. Out of the gate, PC's got one in the southeastern USA. The Brandywine Creek, also known as the Brandywine River, runs from its sources in Chester County in southeastern Pennsylvania to empty into the Christina River in the Newcastle County in northern Delaware.
I cheated by living in Pennsylvania for 7 years.
Oh, well, now that just disqualifies you from all of this. I mean, that's no
This
good.
is just rigged.
Yeah, give him the points.
Within the mythology of the Lord of the Rings, there is a particular thoroughfare whose epithet is the Straight Road. Within the mythology of Lord of the Rings is the Straight Road, and what makes it special? And this one is actually within the mythology. This isn't another place in like Missouri or something.
The Ghasts use it for drag racing?
That would require an oval thing, wouldn't it?
Well, no, drag racing, you want a straight line.
Yeah. I think
again, CD?
Oh, go ahead.
I thought the straight road was through Mirkwood, and the entire point of it was that you were not to stray from the path.
Oh, interesting. Not correct, but kind of cool.
I think the Straight Road is the one that the hobbits left when they did that dance at the end of the movies on Frodo's bed.
So like the straight and narrow, they've just given themselves up to sin. I like it. But I love it. That's great. Any others? This is actually really cool, but weird. According to the mythology of Lord of the Rings, when Valinor and the Undying Lands are taken out of the world, that is when the world became round, or as the elves sometimes called it, bent. All roads thus were bent, that is, followed the surface of the planet, except the straight road, which led from the western sea to the undying lands. This is the path the white ship takes at the end of the third age, carrying Bilbo, Frodo, and the bearers of the elven rings away from Middle-earth forever.
I was close.
Whoa.
Oh, wait, are you telling me that in the Lord of the Rings mythology, the world was once flat?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the
man.
Silmarillion has a whole series of creation Earths about what existed before there was the world, before there was the sun and the moon, there was the two trees. It's like Stephen Colbert would know all of this.
Well, yeah.
Uh-huh. Let's invite him on this show next month.
If he's bored enough, he might.
Yeah.
Anyway, at the end of the Lord of the Rings books, Aragorn marries Elrond Half-Elven's daughter, Arwen, since winning a bride as a prize was what fantasy heroes did in Tolkien's day, and takes his place as Aragorn Elessar, the returned king of Gondor. Prior to this marriage, what relationship existed between Aragorn and Elrond?
And
They were just really good friends.
Now that's the point at which, if we were doing this, we had the whole equipment, there'd be the whole klaxon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, not just BFFs.
They shared a Costco card to save cash? I don't know.
Sure, it was the great Costco of Middle-earth.
Well, they had to have at least one, you know.
That was in Mirkwood. That's what the necromancer took over.
Of course, viable real estate.
Elf have been Aragorn's uncle many times removed?
Ah. Essentially, yeah. Yes, well done. All the kings of Gondor were descended from the ruling house of Numenor, the first and greatest kingdom of men. Aragorn was 39 generations removed from Isildur, who cut the One Ring from Sauron's hand at the end of the Second Age. Isildur was himself, 24 generations, a descendant of the first king of the Numenorians, Tar-Miniatur, whose name at birth was Elros, half-elven. Elros Tar-Miniatur, the first king of men, was Elrond's brother. That means that Aragorn was in fact Elrond's 63 greats nephew and was technically marrying his cousin.
I think at that point the genetic dilution is so great. That
it's just toast. It's like
yeah.
That's
63 to the second power.
Yeah,
or 2 to the
63
63rd
greats
power.
nephew. That's that I'm stretching the word technically to its breaking point with the phrase technically marrying his cousin. But stretching the word technically to its breaking point is kind of how this show goes.
True.
Yes, but I would want to see some sequence data so we could see if there's any preserved sequences in there. Probably not.
Where would you go to get a scale from Smaug?
Smog. I keep wanting to say smog spore, but that's just absolute. That's not even a joke. That's just literally just saying things to fill the space.
Yeah,
well,
and I mean like
funny.
Actually a scale, not like a sample of smog when, just to pick an example, the entire western seaboard is on fire and therefore nobody can breathe. I don't mean something like that.
Okay, well, I mean, since every animal sheds, presumably just go to his bathroom, look around on the ground a little bit, pick up some of his discarded, scales at some point. I think that'd be a viable thing.
How about just going to the bottom of that lake? Isn't that where he ended up?
Ooh, Dale, the Lake of Dale, yeah. It's actually more interesting than that. I mean, somewhere in the real world.
They must have really liked Dale. We'll name a lake after him, I guess.
Remember, stretching technically to the breaking point.
Okay. Scale for smog.
Sorry I'm giggling so much. It must seem very smug. It's like, look at all the things I know. It's like, that's not what I mean.
Well, I mean, it's this question about smog, so it's quite suitable to be smug about smog. So,
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I was properly keeping score, you'd lose points for that.
At the bottom of Hidden Lakes.
Hidden Lakes.
Yes.
Where's that? Just in general? Hey.
Another Claxton, I guess.
If we get
Oh no,
very
there
literal-
wouldn't be a Claxton. I wrote down the predicting ones before.
Mhm.
I didn't realize that there would indeed at some point be someone who would bring in their own fiction and try to do fan fiction.
Oh, it's a real place. Just my wild guess.
The actual answer is South Africa. There and a little to the north is the habitat of the 8 species of spiny cordelid lizard that form the genus Smaug. They are actually surprisingly adorable.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Now, I'm going to see how good are your memories, because at least 2 and I think 3 of you were actually in the chat when I first pointed out the correct answer to the question, who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
Ooh. The answer's too obvious. And it's not for the show. Obvious to me.
Okay, I'm gonna go for the obviously wrong answer because I know this is not the answer, and there's actually a really good one for that. SpongeBob SquarePants. Bam!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun. When I originally did that, I hit that question and the entire audience and all of the panelists immediately shout out, SpongeBob SquarePants, and Claxton went off. Oh, it's beautiful.
Mhm.
I love it when a plan
Yeah.
comes together.
Yeah,
Yes, I would
unfortunately,
have
since
shouted
you
that, but I remember you actually named the organism before, and I can't recall what it was.
I'll just move on from this one because no one's going to jump into the trap any further.
No.
Right.
The correct answer is, and it's really hard to say, so I'm not sure, Azumiobodo Hoyamushi, which is not a Japanese film director, but rather a kind of flagellated protist,
Okay.
a microbe which was discovered to be the parasitic cause of soft tunic syndrome. That in turn is a wasting disease that from time to time blights the crop of farmers raising Halosynthia goretzi, a kind of sea squirt eaten in Japan and Korea, and which is more commonly known as the sea pineapple.
Uh-huh.
Now a question that is actually about the show SpongeBob SquarePants, instead of only pretending to be. Easy, pay close attention to this one. In that cartoon, what is the last name of the squid that works with SpongeBob at the Krusty Krab?
Oh.
Not Squidward. That's his first name.
Yeah.
What? I
Thank
didn't
you.
say them, you know.
I like how the siren's turned into a duck. Seems more appropriate for this thing.
Mr. Bikini.
Oh, isn't his last name just Tentacles? Squidward Tentacles?
You're gonna
Was it-
hate me for this one, especially Professor of Tentacles. It's gonna just hate me for it.
Was it pronounced Tentacles?
I love it. No, there is no squid that works with SpongeBob.
Oh.
Despite the fact that the word squid
Oh.
appears in his name, Squidward is in fact an octopus. His lumpy-headed design was deliberately based on the floppy, rounded mantle of an octopus to make him look extra grumpy. And indeed, if you pay attention, he's got 8 arms. He doesn't have the super floppy tentacles. Dude is not a squid. For what it's worth,
Oh.
Squidward the octopus's last name is Tentacles.
Okay, I have learned something tonight. This has been a
Me too.
productive session.
Mhm.
I like that troll.
Squidward didn't have much of a green thumb or a tentacle, as the case may be. If he had, he would have produced something we could call an octopus's garden. Octopus's Garden, of course, is a Beatles song, an odd, jaunty little tune often found on kids' shows, and only the second one ever written by the much maligned drummer Ringo Starr. What inspired him to write it?
Probably should know this since I actually had like wall-to-wall Beatles records growing up. Probably just a feeling of inadequacy of being like the least important Beatle.
Hey, Ringo's really good. I kind of appreciate his. He's done some really good stuff. So
He's a nice guy, but like, come on.
yeah.
I mean, the
Well,
only
that's
one who
a
competes
really
with him is
bad
the drummer
breed.
they discarded immediately.
I don't know. I feel like Ringo gets a bum rap as far as that goes, and that goes back to at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember. I'm pretty sure it's John Lennon.
Mm-hmm.
Who's described Ringo as not even the best drummer in the Beatles. Let alone the best drummer in Liverpool.
But I'm going to take a wild guess and guess he just named it after his lunch.
That's
Wild, yes.
That's cool, actually. It's like, give it after having sushi.
I'm going to go with John Lennon wrote Strawberries Fields and went to Ringo and said, I dare you to top it.
I think Ringo lived in a high-rise, and there was a large sign above the high-rise, the sea, directly above his own apartment.
Oh. Inspired by his environment. Okay.
Good one, good one.
It's actually kind of more adorable than that, though. On a boat trip in 1968, the captain told Ringo that an octopus will travel along the seabed, picking up stones and shiny objects with which to build gardens. The image charmed Ringo, as well as the idea of being somewhere under the sea, away from the then hostile band atmosphere. The captain's story isn't quite right. Though members of at least one species of octopus, Amphiooctopus marginatus, the West Pacific veined octopus, have been observed collecting shells and debris with which to build shelters.
Aha.
That would have been hard to fit in the scansion, though.
Yeah.
I'd like to be under the sea in an Amphiooctopus marginatus scarf. No, that's just not going to work. This one I expect someone will get. This seems like the right crowd for this question. Technically, according to the origin of the term, what is the plural of octopus?
Oh.
And I mean specifically based on its etymology.
Oh, that would be octopodes.
Yes, there we go. That's what I'm saying. I think this is the right crowd for this. Octopodes.
Wow.
Yeah. Lots
I'm
of
glad I
people
went
noting...
second, because I was just going to say octopode, not octopodes. Whew. You took that bullet for me, thanks.
That wasn't a bullet. He got it right. 100%.
Yeah.
Lots of people noting the us at the end.
Cleaning up here.
Think octopus is Latin and attempts to use Latinate plurals with it, resulting in octopi, which is wrong. It is in fact taken directly from Greek, and therefore octopodes is the correct Greek plural. Octopuses is a strictly English construction. If you're worried what to use, it doesn't matter. All three are accepted in English. It's just that octopodes is technically correct. The best kind of correct.
True. Very true. We can all agree on that.
Yes, but all octopus researchers say octopuses.
Strictly speaking, that's the correct English construction.
Yeah.
Octopodes, based on the etymology and from the Greek, is...
Yeah, but we say aluminum over here, and yeah.
It could be aluminium if you prefer.
Mm-hmm.
Though it's not even that we say aluminum over here. It's actually specifically spelled differently as well. There is in fact an extra letter.
Oh. We just had to be different. Of course.
Yeah, we can't have any of that fancy talk over here. In fact, we're not even going to admit it's aluminum. No, there's going to be tin cans. Which it's not. They've never been tin. Oh, well.
Yeah.
In their heyday, the Beatles had a whole media empire, up to and including multiple feature films. John Lennon, already renowned for his ego, at one point became extremely interested in doing a Beatles adaptation of a particular popular heroic tale, just so he could cast himself as its most iconic character. But the project never materialized. Who was that character?
Gandalf.
That's not on my list, but I suppose it should have been. But it's not. So
Okay.
No hypothetical klaxon that we don't actually have anyway. So you're double safe.
Okay. SpongeBob SquarePants. He was ahead of his time, after all.
Yeah.
SpongeBob got in the shade. No, but I like that.
And I suppose it's too soon to guess Lee Harvey Oswald.
I guess it says a lot that is your definition of the most iconic character in a heroic tale.
Oh,
That's-
I was
I
ignoring
don't
that
necessarily disagree per se, but that certainly definitely takes a certain political
part.
position.
Yes. No, I was just focused
Yeah.
on the fate of our protagonist here.
Mhm.
I'd say
Yeah.
Superman.
That was actually on the list to go bang, bang, bang. No, it wasn't. Although that's the sort of shit he would do. Like 100, if that had come up, he would have run for it. No, it was Gollum.
Oh.
Lennon badly wanted what? Lennon badly wanted to make an adaptation of Lord of the Rings with himself as the damaged Smeagol, Ringo as Sam Gamgee, George Harrison as Gandalf, and apparently Paul as the appropriately named sir not appearing in this film.
Yeah, but now wait a minute. You criticize my choice of Lee Harvey Oswald, but you're fine with picking Gollum as the hero of his story?
Oh, I didn't say hero. It says the most iconic character from a heroic tale.
Mhm.
Okay.
Whereas in the case of Lee Harvey Oswald, the only tale that I'm specifically aware of him being in, and maybe there's more. For all I know, there's like a whole series of like kids books out before that, and it's like Lee Harvey Oswald gives Freddie the Fox a snap or something like that. But
Yeah,
to my
quite
knowledge,
possible.
the only tale that Lee Harvey Oswald was involved in was the assassination of John F. Kennedy. In which case, that's not really a heroic tale unless you have some definite opinions about that, no matter who you consider the protagonist.
Camelot. Come on. It's a tale of Camelot, right? Lee Harvey Oswald is Mordred.
Yeah.
All right, so what you're telling me is John F. Kennedy was actually assassinated by his illegitimate son from his half-sister.
Ooh, that's an interesting. Yeah.
Wow,
That would
he's
be an
Mordred.
interesting myth. Yeah. Get
We
to
shouldn't
get
give
to
the
work writing
conspiracy
that,
theory.
William. Yeah, that's a good
I'm just
conspiracy.
thinking
Le
about
Mort
that.
de Kennedy.
We shouldn't give the conspiracy theorists any ideas.
Oh, they don't need help. They're good. Interesting, mild thing about that. I don't know if you know this. This is not on my question. It's just a fun thing I discovered a little while ago. The concept, the death of the author,
Mhm.
is actually a parody.
Really?
Yeah, it's the title is from French. The death of the author, as opposed to the mort
Oh.
d'Arthur. It's actually a riff on the Arthurian legends.
What? Wow.
Oh, that hurts.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, it's
Mhm.
there are puns in a lot of places where puns do not belong, and it delights me.
Yes.
So regarding that thing that John Lennon wanted to make, the Beatles
Mhm.
Lord of the Rings, the Fab Four had money, resources, and contacts, but were unable to put that particular dream into action. What was the single small hitch that prevented them?
They were banned from New Zealand.
Oh, that's an
I don't
idea.
know what New Zealand thought of them at the time. Mind you, there were more, in the 60s, there were more unruined areas around the world to use anyway.
Right.
Uh,
The execs wanted Paul to play Aragon, I guess.
No, although that's a good guess because that is exactly the sort of thing that would have made Lennon go two fingers to the lot of it. Yeah,
yeah.
it wasn't a good place to be. What was that?
I have a
No.
theory. I have a theory.
Yeah.
My theory is did not want to see a visual adaptation of Lord of the Rings, and so refused to allow one to happen while he was alive.
Interestingly close, but no.
Is it as simple as everyone else hated John and wasn't going to go along with his plan?
Interesting that you should put it that way. It wasn't that everyone hated a John.
What did Tolkien hate the Beatles?
Yes. That's
God.
what it was. Tolkien wanted nothing to do with them. Not Christopher. John Ronald Royal himself, who was still alive and apparently had views about rock and roll. In a 1964 letter, he wrote, In a house 3 doors away dwells a member of a group of young men who are evidently aiming to turn themselves into a beetle group. On days when it falls to his turn to have a practice section, the noise is indescribable. Imagine if he'd met Yoko Ono.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that was actually the reason. There does not exist any sort of Beatles-based Lord of the Rings entirely because J.R.R. Tolkien hated the Beatles and all other rock and roll people.
Oh, wow.
Technically,
That's
it's
just
his right,
sad, but okay.
I mean, think of the rock operas. He just slam shot. It's kind of depressing, quite frankly.
I don't actually know if he had any opinions on whether or not there should be a visual adaptation. I don't think he had a strong opinion on that.
Yeah.
When did he die? It was around 1970, wasn't it? I think.
A while ago, I think.
I don't know.
What was that?
A while ago, I think.
73? Wasn't that the same year that the Bakshi one came out, or is that a couple years later? I don't know, but there was definitely, he definitely was still warm in the ground by the time the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings was in production, if he wasn't still alive when they started. So I don't
new
know.
conspiracy theory is that Ralph Bakshi killed J.R.R. Tolkien.
Just so he could, yes.
Just so he could make his little animated movie. Yeah.
So it's not uncommon for details of a film to change during shooting. For example, when a renowned science fiction director began filming pre-production for his magnum opus Off the Coast of Nova Scotia, it was entitled Planet Ice. What name was it released under? Yeah. Renowned science fiction director.
Dune.
Empire Strikes Back.
No, but good reference to Hoff. I like it.
After Tomorrow.
No, it's earlier.
You're not talking about Roger Corman and the Ice Pirates, are you?
No, it's much more what than that is. Not the movie itself, but the fact that it was called Planet Ice, and there's a hint.
Okay, definitely not Orson Welles then.
Yeah. Mr. Brinkman?
John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh.
No. But you're starting to think in a good direction.
Yeah.
Cool.
John Carpenter's The Cold Thing?
You don't just, okay, it was a different show where I have a quiz thing about storing tapes and stuff. No, there's no just, you can't just throw ice on a existing thing and make it. It was already cold. That movie was set in the Arctic.
Yeah. Walt Disney's Myth About Lemmings, that documentary about lemmings.
Oh, Lord. No. No, it's Titanic.
Oh.
Planet Ice was the temporary working title chosen by director James Cameron to disguise the nature of the project he was working on. Certainly, it sounded more like his cup of tea than a historical romance. Out of the 6 features Cameron directed prior to Titanic, 5 were science fiction and 1 was an action spy thriller. If you think about it, it was actually pretty weird to have picked Cameron to direct Titanic. Obviously, it worked out pretty well for everyone with purse strings, but it was like, I mean, that's the Terminator guy, right? That's Alien.
Yeah. But didn't he have the obsession with the Titanic and diving and all that stuff before he made the movie?
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, he's obsessed with deep sea diving, so I mean,
yeah,
went in.
Let me see. So, the real Titanic was discovered by one Dr. Bob Ballard, who is himself a titan in his field, that of marine archaeology. Dr. Ballard discovered and mapped the wrecks of not only the Titanic, but the Yorktown and the Bismarck, among others. But who would science fiction fans know him as? This is very geeky, by the way. This is I'll hand this to you on a platter. This is about a TV show.
Okay. Earth 1999?
Was there a show called that? There was a show called Space 1999.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm screwing up my jokes. Sorry.
There was also a show called Earth 2.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So is that what it is? Did you collapse the numbers?
Yeah, I added the decimal in the wrong spot and forgot to collapse. I'm sorry.
So it was Earth approximately 2. So,
Yes. And 1.999 repeating actually is identical to 2.
but there's not repeating. There's only 3 of them.
Well, I can't say
1.999 is not equal to 2. It's
But
very slightly
Okay.
less.
But the only way I can actually make that to do that properly is to say it an infinite number of times. And I can't say that an infinite number of times, so I had to shortcut it down to 3.
Say the word repeating. It worked fine when you actually said it that way.
Yeah. I think
I
HJ is just desperate for points. He's just doing so
Yeah.
terribly in this game.
I've done a few negative ones, and I got to make up for
Yeah.
it somehow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Point for Captain Nemo.
Ooh. Headed in a good direction there, but no, not Nemo. There is some other interesting stuff about Captain Nemo coming up here later, I believe.
Okay. Dr. Ballard did the outros for the TV series Sequest, otherwise known as Sea Trek.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's exactly correct. Dr. Ballard was the technical consultant for Sequest DSV, and he was also the scientist who presented Marine Trivia during the closing credits of the first season. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And at this point, I think most people don't know that because Sequest was not popular.
No.
Yeah. Yes.
Titanic the movie, unlike Titanic the ship, was a huge success, producing not only huge returns at the box office, but a theme song renowned for being way, way, way overplayed, even now, 23 years later.
Yep.
Titanic also gathered a large number of Academy Award nominations, and it is still, I checked this out right before the show today, it is still the highest grossing film ever to win Best Picture. Several things are interesting about its nominations, such as it being the most nominated film to win no acting awards, but 2 things about the nominations had never happened before. One was that it was the first time a film that won both Best Picture and Best Song was not a musical. What was the other?
So we're looking for Best Picture, but not a musical.
No, one of the things that was unprecedented about the Academy Award nominations that Titanic received was that it was the first time a film that won both Best Picture and Best Song wasn't a musical.
Oh.
There was one other unprecedented interesting thing about its nominations.
Okay, I think I got it.
Titanic.
It was the first time in Academy history that a diving bell went on stage to pick up an award.
Well, they certainly had people who'd be mistaken for one. What was that? Was that CD?
It is the first time that a movie won the Golden Raspberry for Worst Dialogue and the Oscar for Best Screenplay.
That is plausible, but the particular thing I'm looking for is only about the Academy Award nominations itself. I could believe that, though.
It was the first time the winning directors asked for a moment of silence and then said, "Let's party."
This is actually kind of cool. It was the first time ever that 2 actors were Oscar nominated in the same film for portraying the same character.
Oh,
Kate Winslet's Best Actress nomination and Gloria Stewart's Best Supporting Actress nomination were both for playing Rose DeWitt Buchanan.
okay.
Titanic was made on a Titanic budget and held the record for most expensive film ever made for 6 years.
Mhm.
What movie was the preceding record holder?
Heaven's Gate.
Citizen Kane?
Oh, no, but interesting guess. I wonder how, none of the records about these things actually bother to adjust for inflation. So they all just go dollars of the day. So now I'm quite interested in whether how Citizen Kane would stand up to some of these if it was moved to modern stuff.
True that.
Uh-huh.
What was
If
that?
they-
Ishtar. Do you remember
Ishtar.
Oh,
Good
Oh
one, good
yeah.
one.
What about Waterworld, Abby?
Yes,
oh, yeah.
Oh.
it was Waterworld,
Oh.
which Kevin Costner described as beloved around the world. No.
Oh. But it was beset by cost overrun after cost overrun. I remember that.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah. The movie that opened with Kevin Costner drinking his own pee.
Oh, yes.
Quite notable.
Yeah, which is admittedly the sort of thing that people of some that's something you can sell to some audience. You know that.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, Bear Grylls pulled it off, so.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Hey, it's
So-
still a great stunt attraction.
Waterworld may just have been before its time. It was, after all, a post-apocalyptic adventure in which the apocalypse had been global warming, long before we learned to take that seriously, as if we've done anything to stop it. In it, the bad guys were a religious cult who worshipped the use of fossil fuels. Who was it they described as their saint?
Oh.
Dennis Hopper? No.
He was the actual big bad in it.
Who's the
He was
actor?
their
Yeah.
leader, but not their
Yeah.
saint that they worshipped.
Ronald Reagan. I don't know.
No, but now you're in the right time frame.
Okay.
James Watt?
No, it was more twisted than that. Some other mid-80s iconic event that the fossil fuel guys worshipped.
Mike Tyson.
No.
Captain of the Exxon Valdez. That's who it is.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Really?
right.
Oh,
Yes! This is one of the things I like about this. People will make jokes and then they're right. No, that's correct. Joseph Hazelwood called Old St. Joe in the film, who was the captain of the Exxon Valdez when it struck a reef in Alaska and spilled millions of gallons of oil in 1989.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why they would worship the guy who wasted their fuel instead of making it available, but there you go.
Mhm.
Yeah. Christianity, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the shipping
They weren't
zone
Christian,
thing
but
about it
okay.
is-
I kind of like it as an extension of trolling, or as a prophecy of trolling. We now have the Proud Boys who go out of their way just to say shit because they know it will upset other people. And it may have been that their saint was chosen purely because in choosing that saint, they would upset other people.
Yeah,
True that.
possibly. It's actually honestly weird to me how much of all, it's wrong to use the term, but they call themselves conservative thinking and behavior these days is just entirely on what's going to make somebody else upset. And it's like, that's not a great thing to base your life on, is it? Just deliberately annoying people and not even having anything. Well, moving right along.
Ben Shapiro's getting rich off of that philosophy. So,
Yeah.
All you have to do is have no scruples.
Yeah.
Right.
Pirates of the Caribbean gave us an interesting and distinctive villain, Davey Jones, who was an oath-breaking ferryman of the dead and who looked like Cthulhu playing dress up as a pirate. What did the CGI special effects crew use to make his creepy squid-like flesh?
A Mac.
I don't mean the type of computers that were used.
Okay.
I mean, they took the texture from something.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I was going to give like some serious answer because I know I've actually read enough, special effects things to know it was one of the first instances of subsurface scattering and facial tracking and all that. But the texture they used,
Yeah.
donkey?
It was. The technology was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, it was
But I
great.
don't mean that.
Okay, well, I'm sticking with donkey then. Just because.
PZ, any? No, it was not a donkey. But yeah, good thought. PZ, any complete, really ridiculous joke answers that will turn out to be correct?
Lutefisk.
No, but that is actually closer than the other options we've heard so far.
Oh yeah, I knew.
Not by a lot, but
Yeah, no.
Okay.
what was that?
Fish.
No, it actually wasn't a fish. That would actually an actual marine creature. Oh, but nope. Think sillier. Like this was. Think garbage.
Garbage. A plastic bag?
No, but closer.
Straws?
No, but even closer.
Oh.
Ooh, wow.
McDonald's Happy Meal.
No. It was a coffee-stained styrofoam cup. It was scanned and used as the basis of the flesh texture on Jones's CGI skin.
I knew it. Ah.
Then why didn't you say it?
Because I was trying to be funny. And donkey is certainly a lot funnier than a styrofoam cup. I mean, come on. Everybody
Well,
knows
I think
styrofoam
when
just
the
kills every joke.
No, you're thinking about marine wildlife. Styrofoam kills marine wildlife.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks for the
Yes.
correction. Yeah.
Okay.
Davy Jones and Davy Jones's locker have been part of Navy folklore for centuries. To be sent to Davy Jones' locker unambiguously means to sink to the bottom of the ocean. The exact origin of this euphemism and the persona of the sea devil Davy Jones are unknown, but we do have some early depictions of him. And he didn't look much like the Disney version. What did he look like?
Just an ordinary British seaman.
No, and that would be a klaxon.
Hmm.
The notion of that name being attached to the idea of a sailor's hell has been around for a long, long time.
Hmm.
Like strangely long for the name.
Okay, well, that rules out Spike Jones then.
Mhm.
Hmm.
He looked like Ringo?
I don't
Little
think
Octopus
Ringo's
is
that
gone
old.
forever.
I'm afraid not. All I've
Nope.
got are bad jokes at this point.
Those are good. We want those. Come on.
Okay, we have now laundered bad jokes into good jokes. Fair enough. That is an accomplishment.
I'll take that as a vote for laundry. No, he didn't look like laundry.
Yes. That's exactly what I was going for. That's correct.
Okay.
So apparently, rather like a demon with a smoking habit. Davy Jones was described in the 1751 novel The Adventures of Peregrine Pickle.
Okay.
I didn't write it. As having saucer eyes, 3 rows of teeth, horns, a tail, and blue smoke that came out of his nostrils.
Oh.
That's polite blue smoke.
Mhm.
That polite blue smoke? I don't know.
Yes. Well, I could think of much other less polite places it could come out of. So I appreciate.
Yes. Okay, I see what you mean. It is comparably polite demonic smoke rather than being green and sulfurous and issuing forth from elsewhere.
Yeah, and that's certainly a nice predecessor to smoke gets in your eyes too.
Mhm.
Another iconic nautical Disney film was 20,000 Leagues Beneath the Sea, which starred an extremely
Okay.
British... What?
Just getting excited.
Which starred in the extremely British James Mason as Captain Nemo and Peter Lorre as some guy with bulbous eyes. Nemo is, of course, an alias taken from the Latin word for nobody, Nemo. According to Jules Verne, what was Captain Nemo's real name and where was he from?
Oh shoot! Should know this one.
I'm recalling that there was some other movie about this, and he was Indian. Oh, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
They,
Oh, yes.
Good old Alan Moore. He does his research.
Was he Indian or Arabic?
Indian.
Okay.
And then I'll just pick a common Indian name, Singh.
It's not a no. No, in fact, actually, you've wandered actually slightly in the wrong direction on that last one, just on the basis of that is a Sikh name.
Oh.
Nemo
Okay.
was Hindu. So the answer is, and yes, you're headed in the right direction with all of it. Yes, Prince Dakkar, son of the Raja of Bundelkhand. Although virtually all portrayals of Nemo have been a white man, this is definitively incorrect. He was Indian, a Hindu, and in fact from a landlocked kingdom in the heart of India. Notably, this means one of the very few post-Verne portrayals to get Nemo right was, as PZ said, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bravo.
And
Mark.
it was quite an interesting thing. The first time I read the comic books, long before the movie came out, and it's like, he's Indian. I didn't expect that. But no, that is 100% correct. Jules Verne,
Right.
the thing is, Captain Nemo's origin was never explained in 20,000 Leagues Beneath the Sea. But I think it was called The Mysterious Island. There was another story about Nemo and the Nautilus, and that did go into his backstory.
Okay.
In what can only be just
One of the most interesting, least interesting things about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is that I am constantly encountering people who believe that means that Captain Nemo traveled 20,000 leagues deep into the sea, 20,000.
there is,
and they don't quite realize that would be out the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a league. Is that 6 or 7 miles?
Yeah, 7.
7, right. So that's 140,000 miles. That's
Halfway to the moon.
which is kind of hilarious if you think about it. It's like if they actually tried to do that and pulled it off, right? 20,000 leagues down.
Yes. That'd be quite the
Welcome to
launch.
the Lagrange point.
Topical.
In what can only be described as an act of aggressive pessimism, the first appearance of another famous pirate crew is accompanied by a song about being hung for the crime of piracy. Who are they?
Is this Pirates of the Caribbean again, or
Nope. This is moving away from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Good idea.
okay?
The Pirates of Penzance?
No. Well, not to my knowledge.
The Pirates of Silicon Valley.
If only.
Okay.
Oh, somebody made a porn version of the Pirates of the Caribbean where that song title might be appropriate.
Well hung pirate?
And this is the first time Abby's virgin mind has encountered this idea. But okay.
15 men doing what exactly to a dead man's chest?
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, run away. Run away.
Or be called Bukkake. Ah,
So it's the name of the pirates, not the performer?
not the performer. I'm referring to characters here.
Okay.
And they are very famous. Like this is an extremely well-known story with a pirate crew in it. And in their original first appearance, they're singing this song about being hung.
Treasure Island, maybe.
No.
Oh, that's the most famous pirate story I know.
But keep that in mind because there's a question of that coming up in a bit.
Oh.
Okay.
Pirates
Oh,
from
nice.
Japan?
Yes.
What was that again?
The pirates from Peter Pan.
Oh.
Captain James Hook and the crew of the Jolly Roger. When they first appear, they are singing yo ho, the pirate life, the flag of skull and bones, a merry hour, a hempen rope, and hay for Davy Jones. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Okay.
Hook himself seems not to have been singing that song when it was first heard, but he does personally sing another verse later. Yo ho, the frisky plank, you walks along it so, till it goes down and you goes down to Davy Jones below. So they were kind of fatalistic by pirate standards.
This is a kid's movie. Holy crap. How did Disney get that
Oh,
past us?
man. That wasn't in the Disney movie. That was in the preceding play and the book. And let me tell you, those were weird. Something was wrong with Barry. I remember his first name right now. The Peter Pan stories were, Disney filed a lot of weird stuff off. For example, many things in the 1911 book Peter and Wendy, usually just titled Peter Pan these days, were extremely messed up, including a level of casual racism intense enough to make Lovecraft smile. Partly this is because in the earliest drafts, Peter essentially was the villain, and Hook was created later when the relationship between Peter and Wendy evolved. Captain Hook was a dashing, ruthless, and nearly fearless rogue. Only two things frightened him. One was the ticking crocodile that had eaten his hand. What was the other?
Water.
No, although you've definitely gone in a relevant direction with that.
Ooh.
Okay.
It
It's
was
not
even
water,
weirder,
then.
though.
Okay.
It's not water, then maybe tea.
No.
No, but it's a form of water. Isn't that close?
A form of water is definitely the right way to be going in.
Okay. Mud.
No, but at least you're rhyming now.
Okay, good. Mission accomplished. I'll rest on those laurels. I turn the context over.
I can't hear
Is
CD.
it blood?
Ice.
Oh.
What was that, CD?
Wouldn't it have to be ice if it's a form of water that he's afraid of?
No. Blood. Well, yes, but not blood in general. Almost there.
Type O.
No, it was the sight of his own blood. This sounds like Hook was cowardly or squeamish, but that's not the case. Hook feared his own blood because there was something unnaturally wrong with it. It was a sickly grayish yellow. The reason, this is in the book, the reason for this was never given, and most later adaptations didn't bother with it. Yeah. First book, Hook had yellow, creepy alien blood, and he was afraid of it.
But I think, sensible.
Yeah.
But that's wild, because that means actually it would change his entire appearance, because so much of our appearance is based on the fact that we have red blood. You got red lips because that's tons of blood in there. So
well, I mean, it's a point. It's definitely an oversight in the scientific veracity of Peter Pan.
Yes. Very disappointed in that. I'm sorry.
I think it invites a John Carpenter adaptation of
But you're still doing good movies.
John Carpenter's Pan.
Oh, boy.
In a world. Yes. Although it is by far the best known, the 1911 Peter and Wendy and the stage play of the same story were not the first time J.M. Barrie wrote about Peter Pan. A very different version of Peter Pan appeared in his 1902 book, The Little White Bird. There's also a sequel to Peter and Wendy called Peter Pan in Scarlet. How long after its predecessor was it published? And let me be very clear about this. I'm not messing with you. That Peter Pan in Scarlet was the official sanctioned sequel to Peter and Wendy.
At this point, I believe you.
Yeah.
We have to date a book we never ever heard of.
I guess in a general sense, just to the decade.
1940s.
No.
Okay. 1990s.
No.
Oh, everything trashy happened in the 90s. Ugh.
I'm looking for the amount of time that passed within the nearest decade or so between the publication of Peter and Wendy and the publication of Peter Pan and Scarlet.
40 years.
Nope. It was, in fact, 95 years.
Wow.
Whoa.
Barrie gave the rights to his characters and writing to the Great Ormond Street Hospital in 1929. Almost a century later, in 2004, they launched a competition for novelists, to craft an official sequel, and the result, written by Geraldine McCaughrean, first hit bookstores in October 2006.
Oh, I was imagining Barry writing the sequel.
Yeah, me too.
You would expect that, and that's why this is a sneaky question.
Yeah.
Oh,
God,
you
it's not too
devious-
often when I throw out a ridiculous answer, and the answer is more ridiculous than that.
Yeah, you were close. No, it wasn't in the 90s, but it was only 7 years later.
Yeah.
Speaking of pirates, or as the case may be, like pirates, here's a question that I originally wrote on September 19th, Talk Like a Pirate Day. What was the real name of the first pirate we know for certain who actually uttered the phrase, "You're matey"?
They were an actor?
Yes.
Ooh.
I feel like at least 3 of the 4 of you are currently thinking about the same guy and going, what was his name? What was his name? What was his name?
Yeah.
Eddie Arbuckle.
He was in an adaptation of Treasure Island, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was Cornish.
No, not Cornish.
Okay.
Really close though.
Okay.
Peter Capaldi?
Yes, he went back in time and took it over and was Scottish at it. No, although you were headed for the right guy. Robert Newton, known by most people as Long John Silver in the 1950 Disney production of Treasure Island. With the exception of a few extra ticks and twitches thrown in, it was his real accent too. Newton was from Dorset, England, and his West Country dialect is firmly entrenched in popular culture as pirate speak. So I don't think that's quite Cornish, but it's like the next place over.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that, and somebody who's British may slap me for saying it, but there we go.
Well, they'll be in Britain, so it doesn't matter.
Sarah could show up and,
Well,
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yes, his West Country dialect is firmly entrenched in popular culture as pirate speak. September 19th could as well have been Talk Like a Shepherd Day. At the outset of Treasure Island, young Jim Hawkins lives with and works for his parents, who are innkeepers. In that iconic 1950 Treasure Island movie, how did they cast the part of Jim's mother?
Robert Newton.
Catapult.
What was that, CD?
I think catapult.
Catapults. His mother was a catapult. Fling!
No, that's how they cast his mother. You were wondering how they cast his.
They cast her away with that, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
Good.
In a manner of speaking.
It was the wife of the studio owner.
No. No, it was much worse than that.
Oh boy.
Oh dear.
Much
The
worse.
mistress of the studio owner?
They cast the actor that they chose for Jim.
No, it's actually they didn't. There is not a single female character in the entire movie. It's a decent flick, but the biggest Bechdel failure in living memory.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wait.
you never see his mother. It's nothing, no women at all.
I don't know. I'd say Sex and the Sea would be the biggest Bechdel failure. But
I don't know what that is, and I'm frightened to inquire.
Sex and the Sea, the movie.
Sarah Jessica Parker, all that. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Huh.
Sex in the Sea as opposed to the city.
City.
It's very interesting. I like the combination though. It's like like they're all like mermaids or something, and talking about what a good time they had with that squid the other night. But he's actually an octopus.
Okay.
The Ringo Starr adaptation.
There we go.
Yes. We've reached the last question. And finally, among anyone even glancingly familiar with Japanese folklore, the kappa is a well-known water spirit, almost invariably depicted as having a beak, a shell, and a hollow part on top of its head that it must always keep full of water. More recent depictions of the kappa run towards the harmless, but in the Edo period, they were often portrayed as dangerous monsters, preying on humans to drink their blood, eat their livers, or one other thing. What was the third thing a kappa might take from a human?
Belly
Their
button.
shoes.
No. Nope, that's good though. I like that. Both of those.
They're bladders.
No. Although so far you're the creepily closest.
Okay.
Are they the ones that were into cucumbers?
I don't
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess so.
Okay.
I guess they might take cucumbers, but I mean a part of a person that they would take, not negotiate for
Oh.
produce.
Hmm. Oh, okay. The desire to have a fulfilling life, I guess, would probably be the most terrifying thing I could think of.
Interesting.
Okay.
No, but interesting.
Yes. If you can't be funny.
Be interesting.
Oh yes, absolutely. That is kind of a cool curse, though. You don't want to be anything anymore. No. And you kind of like somewhere between that and now I have to say the phrase and Brinkman's bladder, and you're in the right area.
Okay. Well, I've already thrown out like 2 answers, so.
Their soul?
Yeah.
Testicles? Oh.
But
Testicles?
it is their soul, but sort of. The other thing that they would take is the shirikodama, a ball containing the person's spirit, which in every human is located conveniently in the anus.
Oh, God.
That is a good
Sometimes the
response.
kappa didn't even use its arms to reach for the thing.
Eh?
What did they use, dare I ask?
Pleasantly, I have neglected to acquire that information.
Thank
Oh.
you.
That is a pleasant turn of events, yes.
I kind of assume it was beak, but it's just from that point onwards, it's just not good, especially when you realize we're talking about river and water spirits, which mean during the Edo period, this would probably have been the result of someone trying to relieve themselves in a natural water source, and then...
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. In fact, actually based on a real-life parasitic fish that does something similar.
Go on.
That's about the extent of it. I forget exactly which continent it's on, but yes, there are parasitic fish that are actually known to swim up urine streams.
Amazon.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So you're saying Jeff Bezos is a parasitic fish. I'm just the most wildly successful parasitic fish in the history of parasitism.
Yeah.
That does
Yeah.
hold.
Yeah. Who instead of following urine streams follows fecal streams. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see
A lot
that.
tougher, you know.
Mhm.
I guess he
Yeah.
gets props for pulling off something, rather difficult with that.
Blech. So to recap what we've learned tonight, John Lennon was almost Gollum. The captain of the Exxon Valdez is a saint to anti-environmentalist barbarians. Captain Hook had a delicious lemony filling, and never drop your pants near a Japanese river because a turtle monster might suck your soul directly out of your arse.
Ooh.
All good advice, really.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Information to live by.
And we've reached the end of the show, nicely 1 hour in. Thank you all for attending the anterior appearance of our act Aquatic Antics in the Ancients of Arda. We anticipate your appreciation of our amusing and absurd anecdotes. And this is the point where I want everyone to clap for you, but the problem is we haven't got it set up on YouTube, so where you can get the claps you deserve, so I guess we'll just have to do it ourselves.
Yay.
Okay. And we'll just tell all those people on YouTube to instead donate to freethoughtblogs.com/fundraising. There's links to send money to.
If you liked it, donate generously. And if you didn't like it, blame me, not them, and donate generously because they have to put up with me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you don't donate, we're going to send a turtle spirit to visit you.
Okay.
And there's a lot of them out there. All of those fraternities that say Kappa in the middle.
Oh,
Yeah, a donation a day keeps a turtle spirit away. There you go.
yeah. Yeah, and then there's that sushi, kapamaki. I wonder if that's related. Could be.
I believe that's a pickle.
Oh, it's got that's right. It's got cucumbers in it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's where I got the cucumber connection.
Okay.
Yes, well, the song said, one day we'll find it, the cucumber connection. You've done it.
Okay, very good. This has been fun.
Yeah.
And we should plug oh.
A sophisticated literature reading.
Yes.
I have to tell this to stop. Okay, so next up in less than an hour is the sophisticated literature reading. So you're running that too, Abby, right?
No,
Oh,
that
who
was
is?
CD's thing.
Oh.
I was sending emails earlier. Am I reading? I can read. I would happily tinkle
Okay.
somebody's chucks.
I had people offer to send me copies of oh gosh, now I'm forgetting his name. Chuck Tingle.
Chuck tingle.
And I have not any Chuck Tingle. So if there are any people out there who have copies of Chuck Tingle, otherwise we'll have to be reading something else.
Oh boy.
Well, one way or another, it'll be something interesting, everybody. Tune in
Yes.
1 hour to find out whether we can actually
Yes.
tingle your chucks or we have to find some other way to tickle your tingles.
Otherwise, I have some scientific papers of a titillating nature, at least if you have a good imagination. And I think I even have some Chuck Tingle on my computer. I'll have to look.
Oh, double teaming, nice.
Yeah.
That is the thing that can happen in those.
Very much so.
Okay. Well, very good. So I'm going to go set things up. I got to go push buttons again and get us ready for the sophisticated literature reading at 10 o'clock my time. Yep. And I also have to push the button and end this. Let's see,
Okay.
I have to find that button. Where am I?
Oh, yeah. Have you looked under the sea?
Or up
Oh.
somebody's. I'm not even going to finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to. It is implied.
I have to find, where'd it go? I lost my button.
No, now we have to keep doing this show forever.
Yeah, we're stuck.
You lost your easy button.
It's always the hardest button to button.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll fix it.
That's okay. Power
Okay.
button. It'll solve everything.
There